Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome to another edition, or the first edition of 2026, the Access Trader Weekend Update Show. Hope everybody is doing great. Hope everybody had a wonderful New Year's Eve. Wishing all you guys healthy and prosperous 2026. Again, health is the most important part. Get your health in a row, because again, the last thing you want to do is get older and things start to break on you. Trust me, it happens. Get in front of it, get some exercise, move your body. Don't sit all day. Again, our bodies weren't meant to be sitting in a position with our shoulders hunched, putting in pressure on our neck. Our back leads to sciatica, leads to nerve pressure. Trust me, you don't want that in your life. Get ahead of your health. Start exercising yesterday. For the rest of you guys, welcome aboard. New year, same process. Let's go. So, I'm sure you watched a million different blogs and channels and all that stuff, and everybody's predicting this, and Bitcoin's going to 1 million, and Tesla's going to 10,000, and Amazon's going to 800. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I have absolutely no idea. I am on year 27th, and I have still yet to guess the right way, which way the market's going. But fortunately, for anybody who's been trading for more than 5 minutes, you finally realize we don't need to guess. We're not trying to figure out where a stock is going to be a year from now. We're trying to figure out, based on the previous night's data, where it can go tomorrow, or at least on Monday. So again, no predictions here, no guessing here. It's just the data. So let's talk about the data. Okay, 2024. The QQQ's up 25%. 2025, the Q's up a little bit under 19%. Let's just round it off. The QQQs are basically up about 45, 46% in a matter of 2 years. One camp will turn around and go, well, surely a touchdown regression for all you fantasy football heads who just finished off their season, right? For all, surely a regression, a retracement, a rest is definitely going to come, right? That's one case. The other case is, well, why? Market is doing fine. The economy is doing fine. Inflation is trying to be kind of under control. Everything is fine. Why can't we get another, north of 15, 20% on the QQQs? And again, they're both right. Again, it's guessing, right? It's guessing. It is hoping, and it's saying, well, let's see if I am right. Nor do we want any of those things. We just want to be profitable. And the most important part, again, is data. So let's talk about the data. Again, if you've been watching me just this year, here it comes again, guys. I know you're sick and tired of hearing it, but it's kind of here again, right? If you've been watching me, you kind of know the importance of the 50-day moving average. What happens and what's the ramifications when you go above the 50-day moving average? That is a very aggressive buy signal. And what happens if you go below the 50-day moving average? That is a pretty aggressive sell signal. Again, you could just see just in the last, couple of examples here. Here we go. We lost on November. We lost the 50-day moving average. And in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions, the Qs went from 606 to 580, right? Okay. Here is an example where we reclaimed the 50-day moving average on November the 24th. And in 11 sessions, the Qs went right back, reclaiming back the 607 area, and we went all the way back to 629, right? Really, really big move. Here's another example of where we lost the 50-day moving average very briefly, but we lost the 50-day moving average on 12, and we went from 613 to 600. Again, 13 points in 4 sessions. The latest round of reclaim, loss, reclaim, loss, reclaim, we reclaimed back the 616 level, and we went from 616 all the way up to 626 in 5 sessions, only to lose it back 2 days ago, right? We lost it 2 days ago at 616. Again, not that big of a deal yet. And we went as low as 610 on Friday. And the question is, how many of you guys were trading? Because I unfortunately took the day off. And when I say unfortunately, I will show you the pivots and you'll see, wow, I can't believe you took the day off. And I figured, what the hell is going to happen in the first day of the year, starting on a Friday, right? Most people are off. I don't take a lot of days off. So I took the advantage of taking the day off on Friday because I said, well, it's going to be a very quiet day. Might as well take the day off, take advantage of the long weekend, spend some time with family, yada, 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 yada. Again, we'll get to the pivots in a second. However, we do start the day, right? We do start the the first full week of 2026, day 3, right? We lost it on Thursday. We confirmed it on Friday. This is now the third day, day 2 underneath the 50-day moving average. Again, before you roll your eyes, just keep this in mind. The Qs are up 45% in 2 years. There is a scenario. I know it's crazy. And if you have virgin ears, step out of the room for a second. But there is a scenario that actually market pulls in this year. I know, crazy, but there is a scenario. Again, all you have to do is go back to 2020, 2021, really, really big aggressive moves in the markets, yada, yada, yada. 2022, we were down north of 30%. So it's possible. It's on the table. Don't be naive to think it's not. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know, son. You never know. So where are we, right? We are now hovering above the 64-day EMA, okay? For us to get back into the green mode, right, or at least the buy button to be really, really exaggerated once again, the QQQs need to reclaim back 616, 617 on the close. The longer we build a ceiling, the longer we continue to put in lower highs below the 50-day moving average, the higher probability that we eventually will lose Friday's lows. Friday's lows was tick 610. Write that down, right? 610 is Friday's lows. Any close below 610, then you have all the way down to here, right back testing the December 16 lows. Somewhere around the 600 area would be another area of price discovery. And again, we don't want to have a conversation on what happens after, but at least this 610 now is the line in the sand for this week up and coming. If the bulls can get back above 616, 617 on the close, everything is all good in the world. The bulls are finally back again. It was only a 2-3 day hickey. It's not a big deal. Again, reference 2022 when it wasn't a big deal as well, and people are rolling our eyes. We were down 30, 35% for the year. Anything's possible, guys. Remember that. Anything's possible. Don't be egotistical. Don't have this God complex because you caught a wave in the bull market in the last several years that things cannot happen. They happen all the time. Again, I didn't think I was going to be trading past 2000 because the internet craze was going to retire everybody in 2 years. Yada, yada, 26, 27 years later, here I am. So don't think for a second things can happen. They do happen. They happen when you least expect it. But at least, again, acknowledge it. Don't have that, that egotistical view of the market that the market will always go out. It usually does, and history will prove us right once again in the last 100, 150 years that the markets will always go higher in time. But again, not everybody has $3 trillion accounts that they can be solvent, longer than the market can stay up. So it's a very, very fine line of thinking with common sense versus thinking and looking at the market with rose-colored glasses. But again, the data is the data. 616 on the close, the bulls are back. We lose 16, we will go back to 600, which are December lows. And what's kind of disturbing, right? Kind of disturbing for the last 4 or 5 days, there was nobody here to kind of defend prices, right? And that kind of still is valid for Friday's at least initial sell-off, at least initial aggressive sell-off on a lot of names. But the wonderful part about technical analysis, it kind of gives you a view, kind of a preview of what potentially could come. And here's kind of what my point is. So we're day 2, going to be day 3 underneath the 50-day moving average on come Monday, right? So let's talk about some individual stocks, and we'll talk about the Magnificent Seven, or at least Magnificent Seven and their friends. So we start off with Amazon, right? Amazon had a pretty good run from reclaiming back the December highs, all the way, had a big run, actually had a pretty good spike up on Friday. And then you had this really disgusting, nasty reversal. I haven't even checked the news. I don't even care what the news is. Price action is price action. And the moral of the story is it lost the 50-day moving average on the close. And the only thing that saved it was the 150-day moving average. So keep this in mind. Let's do the scoreboard. Amazon is below the 50-day moving average. Not exactly the smallest company in the world to be to be in that situation. So the longer it stays below the 50-day, there's a good chance it'll start dragging other names with it. And if it starts losing the 150-day moving average, then we have a conversation going back to December lows. Let's talk about Microsoft, right? Microsoft has been below the 50-day moving average since November. And now the crazy part is it never participated in the last rally. And now the crazy part about this is we are on deck to take out the November lows, right? Had this massive engulfing candle on Friday with expansion volume, took out nearly 3 weeks worth of upside bouncing. And now look how close we are, guys, taking out the November lows. Again, not a good sign. So you have Amazon. You have Microsoft. Let's talk about Meta, right? These are important companies, right? Guys, these are important companies. Look at Meta. Meta has been underwater for a very, very long time, since its last quarter. You had the call buying, you had this, we have earnings season is going to be right around the corner. And maybe, yes, a good earnings report does reclaim major levels and the stock goes to 700, maybe the stock goes to 800. But for now, right, we're not talking about the gambling aspect of earnings. We're talking about on the surface. For now, it's below the 50-day moving average. It's below all this daily supply. Again, you have Microsoft, you have Amazon, you have Meta. Let's continue, right? PLTR. PLTR, definitely one of the most darling stories in the last 2-3 years. If you're a shareholder of PLTR, you see nothing absolutely wrong with this situation, for the exception of a pullback from the trading aspect. Look what happened on Friday. It lost the 50-day moving average as well and stopped at the 64 EMA. If it starts losing the 64 EMA, it feels like a broken record, I'm saying, but you kind of get the point. And last but not least, and again, there's a million of these different stocks, right? They're not even the last but not least. Just keep on, let's going, right? Apple first closed below the 50-day moving average, got saved on this 50-day EMA. It loses the 50-day EMA, it will get smoked. And last but not least, again, like I said, there's really a lot of companies that really are the same thing. Let's get to Tesla. Your favorite, my favorite, everybody's favorite. Problem is, it closed first day below the 50-day moving average as well. And I saw a bunch of people tweeting out, this is the longest losing streak for Tesla, 7 days in a row since blah, 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 blah. It doesn't make a difference. They're still coming with $500 call buying and $600 call buying. And somebody did this and somebody did that. We're below the 50-day moving average. So you're telling me there's, just because it never went down for the last X amount of years, more than 7 days in a row, it can't go down day 8? Since when did that happen, right? Since when is that not on the table? So you have your first close below the 50-day moving average. It stopped at the 64 EMA, which was 36, which is exactly what we'll show you the pivots in a second. I mean, if all you guys are traded on Friday, congratulations. I've gotten more text messages and more phone calls and more emails on my day off that I do on a normal trading day. There's just a massive value on Friday. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. So you have Tesla below the 50-day moving average as well. So it's just something you really should acknowledge come Monday, right? And you turn around and say, well, a lot of stocks are still above. Yeah, sure, there are stocks that are still above. NVIDIA is above the 50-day moving average, but the question is how long, right? Because again, it's not a question of how many stocks are standing out. The question is how many stocks are not, right? So if I mention these 4, 5, 6 really big mega cap institutional darlings that are already below the 50-day moving average, well, how long can NVIDIA hold on? Again, it's an open question. It's not a biased question. I couldn't care less, up or down. I was long NVIDIA above the 50-day moving average. Again, I would have no problem being short NVIDIA below the 50-day moving average. So it's something that you should really acknowledge, especially if you've been watching this broadcast for many years. You know the importance of the 50-day moving average. Again, you could have an opinion if you're an investor. This probably is not a great channel for you because we're speaking from the trading aspect only for the next day. You'll be fine, right? You'll be fine. If you're in long Amazon 5 years from now, you'll be fine, and Microsoft and Meta. But we're talking about Monday, right? We talk about, Tesla going to 1,000. Tesla, I promise you, Tesla will not go to 1,000 on Monday. Having said that, there is a possibility of the other market, the other side of the market, exposing some more downside value. And that's exactly what we have to pay attention to. So going into Monday, right? Going into Monday, all these stocks that I just mentioned, I am watching for downside channels. If there is a scenario that people come back from vacation, from their New Year's Eve holiday break, and the market rallies 500 points and we reclaim back the 50-day moving average, awesome. Godspeed will be long, right? But if that doesn't happen, I kind of give you a pretty good case, especially the last several years of what happens next. If we don't reclaim back the 616, 617 area on the QQQs on a closing basis, then yes, we will retest the December lows. That's something you have to really, really be conscious for. So let's talk about Friday's pivots. So this was Friday's pivots. The one thing you never do, if you've been watching this broadcast for many, many years, you know, right? After there's technical damage on Thursday, we closed on Wednesday, we closed below the 50-day moving average. Under no circumstances, tell me if you heard this before, under no circumstances do you ever, right, buy a gap up below the 50-day moving average. And that's exactly what happened on Friday. China was up overnight. Everything was up. And I set everybody up for morning strategy before I left. And I said, guys, you got to give the bears the benefit of the doubt, because if these things turn down, they start taking out the previous day's channels, these stocks will get hit. Yeah, I would say so. PLTR, 177 and a quarter short, right? 177 and a quarter short. This thing got absolutely destroyed, went to 166. I'm still watching this thing for more downside. Again, can we bounce on, can we potentially bounce Monday? Sure, why not? Apple lost the 50-day moving average, 271.75 short, right? Here's Apple. Here's my point, right? It lost the 50-day moving average, went down to 269. Again, watching this thing for more downside this week. And NVIDIA is still above the 50-day. Here, guys, I'm even giving you the price. Here it is. Here, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. This is the 50-day moving average. Here you go, 85.90. Any close below 89.90 in NVIDIA, right? My gift to you. Tesla, 449.30 is a short. If it loses the 50-day moving average of 445, can get nasty. Yeah, Tesla lost the 50-day very aggressively, lost the 39, lost the 49, traded all the way down to 35, which it held the 64-day. It loses the 64-day. Yes, there will be more downside pressure. QQQs lost the 50 days, 614 short is the continuation. We talked about Qs went down to 610. IBM 295.70 short. Here was IBM. As you can imagine, again, really good job, guys. Again, I'm very, very happy for a lot of you guys who traded very, very well on Friday. Again, my emails and my text messages blew up. My wife was just yelling at me. So here was the 295.70, the whole range, all the way down to December's. And IBM went all the way down to 289, about a $7 move on IBM. And last but not least, Meta, 654.39 short. And here was Meta, right? Took out the 50-day moving average and went down about $11 as well. First close below the 50-day as well. So again, we are set up on Friday. Again, there is no emotions, there's no guessing, and I have no bias, okay? I am just talking about data. What we know is bulls need to reclaim back 616 on the close to the upside, and we know the bears need to confirm 610 to the downside. Everything else is noise, everything else is opinion, and everything else is just conversation. Guys, God bless. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I will see you for the first full week of 2026 on Monday. Take care.